I wasn't sure about posting this video. I was just talking to myself about an idea um, that I wanted to share in a video, and then I started to get basically an attack in this area here. So I was getting energy attacks, and that made me realize that someone did not want me to talk about what I wanted to talk about, so I will share it. And it's basically that kids are extremely energy sensitive. They always are, always have been. The portal, especially when they're born to infancy and even like to 3 and 4, extremely sensitive. Here's the thing. My kid is energy sensitive. He is also very gifted and psychic, but he closed himself off around 3 or 4 because he was at an integral phase of his life where he was seeing spirits. He was seeing ghosts. I don't see, I feel. And I was in a stage of healing that there was a disconnect between like my energy and understanding spirit, even being able to hear them, that I just wasn't able to help my kid. I was too busy being physical driven, meaning that I was dealing with the realities of life. We had just ended up in a homeless shelter, because at first I was just in my car. So I was just kind of ended up into a homeless shelter. And at that stage of my life, I ended up in this healing phase where all the things that I did not allow myself to experience, I didn't end up experiencing. And one of those was rage, because I've never allowed myself to feel rage or anger about anything that happened to my life. I just kind of took it on the chin and kept moving. And in that space, it was a safe space, so to speak, of my healing journey, where I was just in a heavy state of rage. Separate conversation. The point, though, is that I was such in that state that my very energy sensitive kid was picking up on that all the time, and I was in no shape or fashion able to understand that. That also meant, because it happens to me also, that I get attacked by energies at all times. That also means my kid is accessible, and i.e. he was accessed. And because I was unable to be present and aware and available energetically and kind of just physically, if I'm being honest, although I was very present, but it's, if you know, you know, different side conversation. Because the point of this message is that he shut himself down because during that time, I just was not able to help him. And he was seeing things and going through things that I could not help him with. So he shut himself down. But my kid is still very energy sensitive. Now, mind you, this conversation is not for if you have a medical professional that has diagnosed your kid and that is what you're settling on. This is not for you. This is for people who understand energy, understand that it's important, understand that it can affect your life, your daily life, the energy in your home, the energy you put out to the world, receive reciprocal behavior, like give and receive. You understand that, and understand that kids are extremely sensitive to it. Extremely. My kid is extremely sensitive to it. So, things that I put in place to help my kid is that before he enters into the house, I have him shake it off. We jump, we wiggle, we stop. When you first do this, it's a new thing that you're introducing that might be different than they're used to. So, there may be some pushback, but make it fun, because you probably also need to shake that shit off too. Now, mind you, I do this when he is around or coming from a group of people, especially anything longer than an hour. Anything longer than an hour, he's going to do this. If it was just a walk into a grocery store, I don't tend to make it as necessary, but I also do energy work, so I'll swipe him or I'll dust it off. Or my home, I set my home up for, because it seems like I'm just throwing out a lot of information and I'm not really breaking down each piece, an important piece. And so that leaves me feeling like, am I giving you the information that you need? Am I helping you by talking in this way? Or do I need to break this out into a shorter format so that you can kind of stick with me here? Because what I mean by that is I am this way because energy, spirit has always been with me. I did not know it as a kid. I did not know it as a teenager, a young adult, truly. Until around the time that I was about to have my kid, did it really hit me, and did understanding kind of come full circle for me. And now I understand. And because of that, I take certain precautions for my own kid because I see certain behaviors. The fact that he's probably an empath, you can use that word if you want to. I don't care. Energy is energy. the fact that he picks up energy from other people and sometimes that's not his, and I'd have to snap him out of it because he obviously doesn't know. But it's important that I stay focused, that I stay aware that my kid is this sensitive. And when you're at this age, if you're not learning the tools to be aware of this, then you're going to find yourself in situations that I found myself in. And a lot of other people, I'm sure, because I haven't read that many or spoke to that many people, are similar, that if they were highly sensitive as a kid but there was no one to help them through that, they had to go through some things that they didn't know until later on. And I'm sure there are things that can be put out to help, and I don't think there's enough. Like, one, have your kid jump and wiggle before they go inside the house. That will help reduce if your kid tends to go inside the house after being around a bunch of people and then they seem like they're just really antsy. Their energy is just high off the charts. Again, it's medically been professionalized. That's your business, all right? But your kid is high off the charts, high energy, and or really sensitive to everything. You ask them to just take off their shoes or put up their backpack, or you want to give them a snack and they just, it's usually integrated with the fact that they're now in a safe space, their home. And if they're in a safe space, that is when all of this energy that they never paid attention to is now going bah, 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 bah. And their body cannot physically handle that vibration, that energetic thing that is hitting them. Okay? So this is when you're going to recognize that that's one way in which, well, different ways, but that's one way in which they're going to show you that more than likely they're a sensitive kid. What helps my kid is before he comes inside, he jumps, he wiggles, he stomps. And of course, I feel it out. I'm like, I stomp a little more, shake a little more. So you really have to trust your intuition. So it's not just about your kid shaking off that energy. This also will help you to form a stronger intuition, especially if you know that your kid is energy sensitive. Whew. Okay, that was long. And I will try to break it up a little bit more. And I will repeat this conversation because I have so many things on it. And Spirit wants me to talk about it because it's fucking important. My kid was 1 year old, less than that, doing energy work. But if you're not aware of that, if you're not familiar with it, then you're not going to realize that. And he's not the only kid, 1 year old, that I've ran into that does energy work. There's so many kids. When they're one, you think when they're handing you a pencil, hand it back to you, and then they take it back and then give it back to you, you think it's this game that they're playing. But in reality, they are playing with energy. Energy within here that they have, because it's beautiful, it's pure, and it's strong. They give to you. You just put in your energy. They take it back, they clear it, and they give it back to you. So much for me to talk about on this, but I got to figure out how I'm going to word that and break it up so that I feel like I'm giving it to you and not trying to just load it all into one video. So I hope, and I'm going to put out the intention that any parent who has an energy sensitive kid, that you connect with this video, that if you feel called to it and you need the help, or you need the kind of, oh, that makes sense, okay, I can do that. It's here for you, and I will put out more because I know how it has affected my kid when I wasn't able to be there for him during like his highest sensitive stage, and I now know where he's at because I wasn't there for him. So I have a very good grasp, and I want to share that so that if you're also similar to me, going through healing and not able to be present, and you know that your kid is sensitive or they shut down, then I feel like this will help. I know this was really talky, but the fact that I got attacked shows me that it's important. All right.